the relative value assigned to having a regular daily routine is considered 3 times more important than having a satisfying sex life, while being optimistic about the future cancels out, point for point, the negative trait of not having a hobby. I need to get a hobby, don't I? Oh, maybe I've got a hobby or 3. Hi, it's Tiger Todd with Hero School. Great to see you again. And as we continue reading a snippet from 24 of incredible books that were a huge influence to me professionally, personally, and to all the students that valued Hero School, tonight's book is by Deepak Chopra, MD. Now, I'm going to read from this book, Ageless Body, Timeless Mind. But the book that got my attention and got me learning and interested in Ayurveda, this 5,500-year-old mind-body science from India, was actually an audiobook that Deepak performed. 6 CDs, I remember it clearly, and it was called Magical Mind, Magical Body. Any of you guys had that one? Anyway, changed my world, right? And there are things that resonate with us, and yet one of the things that has been a hallmark of Deepak Chopra's career as a medical doctor who also understood some things spiritual, quite deeply, was his ability to, we'll call it, slow down the aging process. So tonight I'll be reading from Ageless Body, Timeless Mind, a quantum alternative to growing old. Who's interested? Okay, all right. So let's find this chapter. Ready? Here we go. Let's put on the Ben Franklin's, and maybe next time I won't need the glasses. Here we go. 3 Ages of Man. The complexity of the forces operating inside an aging body becomes even more obvious when you ask a seemingly easy question. How old are you? Before you rush to reply, consider that there are 3 distinct and separate ways to measure someone's age. There's chronological age, how old you are by the calendar; biological age, how old your body is in terms of critical life signs and cellular processes; and then there is psychological age, how old you feel you are. Only the first of these is fixed, yet chronological age is also the most unreliable of the 3. One 50-year-old may be nearly as healthy as he was at 25, while another may already have the body of a 60 or even a 70-year-old. To really know how old you are, the second measure, biological age, comes into play. It tells us how time has affected your organs and tissues compared to other people of your chronological age. Time doesn't affect your body uniformly, however. Practically every cell, tissue, and organ is aging on its own timetable, which makes biological age much more complex than chronological age. A middle-aged marathon runner may have the legs, muscles, heart, and lungs of someone half his age, but his knee and kidneys may be aging rapidly due to excessive stress, and his eyesight and hearing could be declining on their own idiosyncratic paths. You become unique as the years pass. At 20, your muscle development, reflexes, sexual drive, and many other primary functions are reaching their peak. Most people look alike to a physiologist. Young hearts, brains, kidneys, and lungs all exhibit healthy color and firmness. Evident of malformed, diseased, or dying tissue is scanty or non-existent. But by age 70, no 2 bodies are remotely alike. At that age, your body will be like no one else's in the world. Its age changes will mirror your unique life. Biological age also has its limits as a measurement tool. Consider purely as biology, the aging process moves at such a slow rate that its fatal effects rarely match those of faster-moving diseases. Most critical organs can function well at 30% of peak capacity. Thus, if our bodies are losing 1% of their functioning every year after age 30, it would take 70 years, or age 100, before aging per se threatens a particular organ with imminent breakdown. But social and psychological influences are ever at work. Our lifestyles subject us to various conditions, and the differences in how we age show up much earlier in life. And many of us are concerned about the psychological effects, not just the biological effects of a government shutdown, right? Like this pandemic and the sheltering at home, right? So we have to deal with this. And is there a way to retake charge of the aging process? 2 stroke patients in their mid-50s with identical medical conditions can, and often do, display wildly different outcomes. One may recover from his attack quickly, respond well to physical therapy, and easily regain lost speech and movement, eventually returning to normal life. The other may respond poorly to treatment, be overcome with depression, and give up all active pursuits. In short order, he may grow old and die. The determining factor is psychological age, which is the most personal and mysterious of the 3 measurements, but also the ones that holds the most promise for reversing the aging process. Now, this is fascinating because, as we know, Deepak Chopra is a medical doctor in this country, but he also studied medicine and Ayurveda, of course, in his home country of India. And he'll be the one, if he is passing out any medical advice, I just want to listen and learn and maybe gain some power over the aging process. I think my hair color's too late, but ooh, L'Oreal, she's there. Okay. Biological age is known to be changeable. Regular physical exercise, for example, can reverse 10 of the most typical effects of biological age, including high blood pressure, excessive body fat, improper sugar balance, and decreased muscle mass. Gerontologists have found that elderly people who agree to adopt better lifestyle habits improve their life expectancy on average by 10 years. Thus, the arrow of time can move forward quickly or slowly, stop in its tracks, or even turn around. Your body becomes younger or older biologically, depending on how you treat it. Yet your third age, psychological age, is even more flexible. Like biological age, psychological age is completely personal. No 2 people have exactly the same psychological age because no 2 people have exactly the same experiences. Listen to the voice of Anna Lundgren, age 101, who made a very important observation as a child that influenced how she aged for the next 80 or 90 years. Quote, "Back in Norway, where I was a little girl, when people got to be 55 or 65, they just sat. I never felt that old. That's old. I don't feel that old today." At 101. How old you feel you are has no boundaries and can reverse in a split second. An old woman recalling her first love can suddenly look and sound as if she had turned 18 again. A middle-aged man who hears that his beloved wife has died can wither into lowly senescence in a matter of weeks. Now, here we're talking about someone who's wandering into, if you will, senility. But I remember that when I was growing up as a boy, my parents had a boat store on Boulder Highway in Las Vegas. And the difference between, does your mom have a mom voice? Did she have a mom voice? I mean, the way she would just talk to us kids and talk to others, but when she answered the phone, it was like, hello. It was as a child, I still remember that, and I kid her to this day. All right, back to studies. Instead of coming up with a fixed number to answer the question, how old are you? We need to arrive at a sliding scale that shows how fast our 3 ages are moving in relation to one another. Take 2 50-year-olds. A, who is recently divorced, suffers from acute depression with a history of heart disease and overweight. B, who is happily married, healthy, optimistic, and satisfied with his job. Because he still has one even after the shutdown. Because of the various factors at work, the true age of A and B is best expressed by a 3-tiered graph. I'll post this. You'll see it. The arrows point in the direction of aging, and their length indicates how fast the process is taking place. Although A and B are both chronologically 50, A is under so many negative influences that his body is 10 years older biologically and is aging quickly. In terms of psychological age, he is about par with his calendar years, but he is aging fairly rapidly there too. The picture is very different for B, who is younger on both the biological and psychological scales. His good physical and mental health indicate that he is aging slowly biologically and actually getting younger psychologically. Overall, A is in much worse shape than B. Depending on how severe his depression and heart condition are, his composite age might be as high as 60. But this figure is artificial. It ignores the fact that all the factors that make him so much older than his chronological age are reversible. 10 years from now, he could be as happy and optimistic and fit as be, in which case his composite age would decline. When gerontologists try to predict longevity, all the following psychosocial factors must be taken into account to accurately determine if the aging process is being accelerated or retarded. So negative factors that accelerate aging: depression, inability to express emotions, feeling helpless to change oneself and others, living alone, loneliness, absence of close friends, lack of regular daily routine, lack of regular work routine. Maybe this is timely that we're going through these readings now. There's still the ability to reverse whatever this has caused. Job dissatisfaction, having to work more than 40 hours per week, financial burdens, being in debt, habitual or excessive worry, regret for sacrifices made in the past, irritability, getting angry easily or being unable to express anger, criticism of self and others. We'd probably add things like unforgiveness, right? Like worry again about things you don't have control over or things you can't put meaning to, as we've learned from some of our other reads. Now, in this case, we have positive factors that retard aging: happy marriage or satisfying long-term relationship, job satisfaction, feeling of personal happiness, the ability to laugh easily, satisfactory sex life, ability to make and keep close friends, regular daily routine, regular work routine, taking at least 1 week's vacation every year, feeling in control of personal life, enjoyable leisure time, satisfying hobbies, the ability to express feelings easily, optimistic about the future, feeling financially secure, living within means. As you can see, there is much more to psychological age than the cliche, "you're only as old as you think you are." And changing your psychological age involves interweaving personal and social factors. Among the major factors are several we've touched upon. The importance of a regular daily and work routine is emphasized by almost every longevity study. Job satisfaction emerges as the most reliable indicator that a person is at low risk for a heart attack, while being dissatisfied with one's job put one at extremely high risk. Living alone is precarious, while being happily married indicates that one will age slowly. The combinations of these factors become extremely complex, mirroring the complexity of one's personal life. Gerontologists have gone to great lengths to try to quantify some of these factors with plausible results. Someone who has lived alone for 4 years, for example, would have a slightly different psychological age from someone who has lived alone for 8 years. The relative value assigned to having a regular daily routine is considered 3 times more important than having a satisfying sex life, while being optimistic about the future cancels out, point for point, the negative trait of not having a hobby. I need to get a hobby, don't I? Oh, maybe I've got a hobby or 3. But I have personal reservations about any attempt to quantify someone's personal makeup. Despite the general accuracy of these factors, they lose the essence of personal life, which is its ability to shift and transform itself, to touch many chords, both happy and sad, to undergo sudden reversals and abrupt illuminations. When I think of myself, my image is not a fixed collection of attributes. Things are always changing inside, sometimes drastically. The list cannot quantify intangible qualities, such as being able to give of oneself and having regard for others. In general, this is the limitation of modern psychology, with its over-reliance on numbers and impersonal data. One unusual study bridged the gap rather neatly, however. Larry Sherwitz, a University of California psychologist, taped the conversations of nearly 600 men, a third of which were suffering from heart disease, the rest of whom were healthy. Listening to the tapes, he counted how often each man used the words I, me, and mine. Comparing his results with the frequency of heart disease, Schweritz found that men who used the first-person pronoun most often had the highest risk of heart trouble. In addition, by following his subjects for several years, he found that the more a man habitually talked about himself, the greater the chance he would actually have a coronary. Counting the times a person said I was an ingenious way to quantify self-absorption, and to me, there's something very fitting in the fact that the less you open your heart to others, the more your heart suffers. The antidote, Schweritz concluded, was to be more giving. Quote, listen with regard when others talk. Give your time and energy to others. Let others have their way. Do things for reasons other than furthering your own needs. In those words, he goes beyond the quantifiable data to issues of love and compassion, which appeal very much to our intuitive sense that an open, loving person should age well. Well, are you interested? Did you enjoy the book like I did? All right, so lots more where this came from. We know how to balance body types like Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And if you'd like to slow down and reverse the aging process, perhaps Deepak Chopra's book has some of the answers. At the very least, it'll help you with the I versus you, or the self versus taking care of others. This is Tiger Todd for Hero School. Thanks for coming on this journey with me. We believe in heroes, and we believe in you.